what Tupac was doing by calling these peace truces and bringing the Bloods and Crips leaders together in peace truce picnics and all was really amazing. And his code of thug life was, a code to move gangs that weren't ready to give up drug dealing, completely, to at least move them in a more positive direction in terms of, reducing the harm they did in their communities with their drug dealing by not dealing anywhere near, kids or and other things like that. And so that was some of his great work. And that was a very important work, and that work was very dangerous for him because of the fact that drug trafficking makes incredible amounts of money for the CIA and the oligarchs in general. Not only do they get that money, a percentage of that money that's trafficked, but it's then laundered in corporate stocks and banks, and they own the banks. I mean, for example, John Pierpont Morgan, it's Morgan Chase, so what's it called again? I'm sorry. Just forget the largest bank in the world's name, but I think it's Morgan Chase, whatever. Because that's, it was last year, it was Forbes said it was the top bank. JP Morgan Chase was the top bank in the world. And this drug trafficking money is laundered through their stocks. Estimates are from Congress between $500 billion to $1 trillion is laundered each year. And so this woman, I have in my film how it's explained that the money that's laundered through stock companies actually increases that amount, the value of those stocks by 20 to 30 times because of the cash, because it's pure cash. And they think, well, if it made that much profit in 1 year, it could make that much for the next 20 years. And so the value of that stock rises by 20 times.
Retired LA County Sheriff's lieutenant and his son, a one-time cop with the Compton Police Department, have been indicted on federal drug trafficking and money laundering charges. Are both members of the Grape Street Crips gang. He and his son, Reggie Wright Jr., were both arrested last week in Southern California on federal drug trafficking and money laundering charges out of Memphis, Tennessee. Prosecutors say the father and son are among 22 gang members and gang associates responsible for running a drug pipeline from Los Angeles to a gang in Memphis. The drugs include heroin, marijuana, meth, and cocaine. Reggie Wright Jr. also worked at Compton PD, but later left law enforcement to work for Suge Knight and Death Row Records.
This is a Jmix exclusive.
You take that much laundered money out of an area by getting a gang in a certain area to stop dealing drugs. It's a huge decrease in profits for the companies that are laundering that money, and that was the major threat of Tupac to the drug launderers and the oligarchs who are involved in that drug money laundering.
Because you've talked and written so much about drugs being used against activists, and you don't have to answer this, but I'd feel remiss if I didn't ask you, how do you feel about drug legalization?
I guess I'm kind of neutral. I really don't have a strong stance, to be honest. I'd be okay if it was legalized. I'd rather it not be used to criminalize so many people. I just wish people would use less drugs. I don't want to see people. I do this for part of my client. The people I counsel are drug addicts, and I just hate to see how it ruins their lives. And it is great to see them get out of that horrible world of addiction and sober up and change their lives for the better. So I guess I lean towards. I don't have a strong opinion on it, but I lean towards decriminalization, while at the same time I wish people would use drugs much less. Particularly people with addictions, but even people that abuse drugs, by definition, it kind of hurts their lives. If people could just use drugs, once every once a month or a few times a month, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But obviously, a lot of people can't do that. And when it comes to drugs like acid, LSD and ecstasy, the best evidence I show in my book is that they're causing some damage to our minds, and I felt like it damaged my mind. Some of these drugs. I used to have a drug problem and tried everything I could, and I saw the damage it did to my mind. And when I sobered up and got away from this stuff, and was lucky not to develop a full-fledged addiction. But when I got away from this stuff, I could really just see my full potential versus the crap that was going on when I was using.
Can you give us any previews or information about the movie that is coming out? Is it finished? Is it in post-production? Do you have a distributor?
The movie is finished. It doesn't have a distributor. I'm just about to start looking for a distributor. I've entered into some film fests, and so far the first 4 or 5 all rejected me. I really, I came into it thinking like I'm going to get into everything. Now I'm thinking I'm not going to get into anything, but I just, I know when it comes to radical projects like this, I have high expectations in the beginning, and then when I start really searching for publishers or searching for places, forums to present the information, I realize that this is controversial stuff and it's not going to be easily accepted. But now, I'm hoping at least for some social justice film fests that maybe they would show the film. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with it. But if nothing else, hopefully, maybe yourself and other like-minded independent media folks could show clips of it and get some of the material out there. If nothing else, yeah.
It would be my absolute pleasure to promote it. I have nothing but the utmost respect for you, John.
Thanks, Jesse.
In closing, where can people go to support your work, to buy your books? Do you have a website you'd like to plug?
Yeah, thanks, Jesse. I got this one website that's got a few different names. One of the names of it is FBIWarOnTupac.com. Another name of it is DrugsAsWeapons.com, and the third name is JohnPotash.com. But they're all the same website that where you can purchase my books or my film on Tupac. Now, the film based on the Tupac book is the same name as the book, the FBI War on Tupac Shakur and Black Leaders. And so Amazon also sells both books and the film. And Barnes & Noble actually has Drugs as Weapons Against Us on its bookshelves in some stores. So, it seems to average about one or two stores per city. Barnes & Noble locations has my book on their shelves. And New York has maybe 6 Barnes & Noble stores within 45 miles of Union Square that have my book on their shelves. So that's really nice. So, those are the 2 main places you can get my book. You can, if you want if people want an autographed copy, they can get it from my website. So,
thank you so much. Do I have your permission to show your trailer as a lead-in to this interview?
Definitely. Yeah, sure, Jesse. Thanks a lot. That'd be great. And so, thanks a lot for all your videos of getting people involved in Tupac's case out there on YouTube and all that. I think you did good work with. I think it was Frank Alexander. I don't know if you interviewed Kevin Hackey, maybe Kevin Hackey and some of these other guys. It was great to see them. I didn't get to watch them all, of course, but I watched some of them on YouTube, and I think you did good work with that. So thanks for doing that and getting me on there too before. So I appreciate it. Good work.
Thank you, John.
This is a Jmix exclusive.
Whatever, shut up.